Hi guys, Rachel with Spunky Misfit Girl here. Today's video is the start of a bigger project that is a little bit of an experiment. I have not done everything in exactly this way before, so we'll be experimenting a little bit, especially today, because I'm going to do this closure in a way that I've never done before. And I've actually never seen anybody do it before. I just have a journal from, it looks like Liz or Liza maybe, creates on Instagram. And this is how she did her closure, and I'm just experimenting with how to do this just out of nowhere for fun. And I'm going to make probably blank. I'm going to leave the journal blank. So I may very well decide to give this away. I've had so much fun with the big tab bound journal. So what I've got prepped here is a set of book covers from a hardback book that I read and decided I didn't need to keep forever. And so I removed the pages and I backed it up with Tyvek tape on the spine, on the inside. And so what I'm going to do here, first thing I'm going to do actually is add the book cloth to the spine. So this is book cloth. I think you can only get it really, the only place I've found it anymore is at Dick Blick, and I order it online. And actually I want to make these edges a little straighter. And unfortunately, as you can see, this has been stored in a roll, and I have seriously had this under, that one's okay. I've had this under boards and big books for like 4 days or something, and it really hasn't fixed it. So we're gonna fight with it to get it to stay down today. So you can see that I've cut it with a little extra on the top and the bottom, and actually, let's make this side a little straighter too, and big enough to give it some room on either side of the spine. This doesn't matter so much because I can just put my paper, make my paper straight. But that'll be better. Okay, so what we're going to use for this is PVA glue, which is, this is Lineco, and that I just find is better for, well, hopefully we're going to be able to actually get this guy open. Feels a little glued on there. It's better for bookbinding stuff like this, where it's like serious. You can use something like Fabri-Tac for it, and it will work, but this stuff is slightly more flexible, if that makes sense. At least that's what I found, and I feel like it adheres well for this kind of thing. So I have a big bowl here that I use for my glue, and I am just gonna use a crappy old paintbrush and get plenty of my PVA glue on this. And the frustrating thing about this curving here is that I will, if I'm not careful, the glue will end up on the front, and that's, it can show, especially in darker colors like this, it can end up showing badly, and I'm gonna need more glue in that too. I'm excited to be diving into some bigger projects again, even though I decided I'm not gonna decorate these. I'm using up, I have a whole bunch of beautiful, beautiful papers that I ordered from Italy that I want to use to make covers of journals, but I don't necessarily have materials to fill those journals up, you know, on the same themes. And I found that people sometimes come to my booth at markets and things looking for blank journals. And this way I can also sell them for less, which is helpful to have. You know, the ones where I really, really go to town on a hardcover, it's just, I have to charge a lot for those and they take longer to sell. So it's nice to have some different alternative options. All right, so I'm gonna put this guy on the middle, on the up and down, and then plenty of room on either side. And we are gonna take the bone folder and make sure we get this guy to lay down. I think it'll be fine. That awful curve won't actually be a big deal. This is where I started, you guys. Not necessarily even using old books, but actually making covers out of bookboard and book cloth ages ago and actually hand binding them in before I knew anything about junk journaling. I was just making blank books. And I've always loved it. All right, I just glued it down here to this paper too, but that's okay. Add a little extra and get this guy back around in here. And so I'm gonna try, I think, when I think about this logically, what seems to be the order of operations here is that this outside piece of book cloth has to go on, and then we'll make our slits for our closure. And then we'll put the inside piece on here. I did bring the inside piece, okay. Because this will show, and in a different video, I will make a spine that sits in here, and that's what I will sew the signatures to, and then we'll glue that spine in over the top, and we'll already have our closure inside of there. I'm just making sure that gets all set and that I don't get glue on my spine. I think that looks pretty good. Flexy, flexy. We need a little bit more in here, but we're looking really pretty nice. I'm not too fussy about these, you know, they don't have to be super perfect like the bookshop. Okay, so I think, and this is the part where we are gonna experiment a little. I think the thing to do now, and I think I started this, is to make just a slit in here. It's gonna come right there, and then another one that's gonna go in the back, and that's gonna allow us to slide our ribbon right through there. Let's not mess that up. And I want to just do that with it still on the roll so that I can see about how long I want this to be. And I have not done this before, so I have no idea, but I think, you know, this is about how we want it. And then I'm gonna make it nice and long. Because I like them long, and then I'm gonna cut it off on the other side with a little extra so that I make sure I have enough to go through here. And then I'm gonna put it through the back. And like I said, this is just me making it up from looking at somebody else's work, and I probably will watch a tutorial later and be like, oh, that's a way better way to do that. But I think this is gonna work out really well, actually. I'll just get that a little flat and straight in there. And that's gonna be a nice closure that lives right in there. Let's pull it a little. I cut it like way too long, but can I get that to go straight for me? I just want a nice end on it. Pull it a little more. Then we'll get a nice end on the other one too. And that is my closure. Okay, awesome. Happy with that. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my inside cover for my spine on too, over the top. And I'm gonna put my cover pages on. And I'm gonna need some more PVA for this. Move that out of the way. Try to avoid getting glue on it. I just got a comment today for those of you who follow Julie over at Camelia's Crafts Designs. She showed up on one of my videos. She's such a sweetheart. I was so excited. Ah, the famous Julie came to see me. She commented on a video that I had done that was inspired by one of hers, which I don't think she realized. She is such a delight. Such a delight. Oh, it looks like this this color is a little darker than the one I have on the outside. That's okay though. I'll go with a little character. You're not gonna really see too much of this either, because we're gonna cover up the middle with the spine itself, and we're gonna cover up the sides with some end papers later on. But I really like this way of doing a closure. It's not something I have done before, and I think that's gonna be really cool. That's slick, slick, slick. My cuts are a little bit wonky, but it's an Alice journal, so that's okay. Might actually even be better. So I'm gonna use these Italian papers. I think that one's gonna go on the front. And I've cut them, let's see, they might actually be a little bit too big. Let's see where I want to cut this down to. So I need it, I definitely need some overlap, but maybe not quite so much. And I've got a funny little bit here. I'll cut. And I do want them to be straight too. This bottom edge is straight. guy straight too. So that we have, you know, enough to layer over. He's still kind of big. I think I want this side. This side's not straight either. Oh no, my cutter disappeared. My blade. I do that sometimes. Okay, that I think is gonna be about right. Top and bottom. We're gonna put it about here. So I'm gonna just snip my edges, my corners, because that gives us less extra on the folds. And I really eyeballed this, so I'm not gonna give you measurements. I think there are measurements for how to make it precise, but like, you guys know me, I don't want to measure. So let us firstly go back to our PVA glue, and we are going to glue this middle area. So from here right up to the edge here, because that's gonna go, but I'm not gonna do the edges yet. I'm gonna get this on there, and then I'll do my edges because it's just a little easier. And this glue gets sucked up into paper pretty easily, which is, I think, part of the reason that it's so good for this, but it does mean you use a fair bit of it to really get this adhered. That's pretty good. Let's wipe some of this away and bring this guy back. This is going to be our front cover. Just trying to remember to not muck this up. This paper is somewhat delicate, so I want to go straight. I want to go where I want it with the top and bottom, and then also side to side. It is really pretty paper though, and it definitely, I had a journal in my shop before that used this on the cover, and it really caught people's eyes. Might have gotten a little bit of a stain of some kind on there. It's not the end of the world if I have to add something. I'm actually going to do this upside down because I have a little bit of a glue spot there. So then I'm going to do my top and bottom here. I want to make sure that that's a little more definite. Oh, that's where I want that guy, but I think so. I don't think I need to worry too much. It's pretty flat. Looking good. So we're gonna then do our top and bottom. More PVA. You know, people ask me a lot how I got into this, and like I say this is where I started, is with this kind of stuff. I don't remember if the first thing I did was take a class. I might have taken a class, but I think I probably just had a book. I distinctly remember a book. I probably checked it out of the library because that was the kind of thing I did. And like, I have some old black and white copied pages from a book that gave instructions on how to do this. And I think I made a lot of books using those instructions, and they actually weren't very good. It was like a way of, like, you added the pages in, by gluing the end papers on one side to the book itself and then on the other side to the last page of your signature, and you didn't do any sewing and you didn't add an extra spine, and ultimately the end result wasn't actually very nice. And so I'm really happy now that I have such a wide variety of different ways to do this that come out so beautifully. Okay, so that's our top and bottom. I hope you could see that as I was doing it, since I'm yakking instead of instructing. But I think this is fairly straightforward, just doing a lot of gluing. Once you have your papers cut to the right size and your covers the way you want them, this isn't, and you know, it's still a junk journal. I am not going to be fussed about it being absolutely perfect. This paper kind of does the job itself. And we're going to put an end paper over this whole thing, so it's not the end of the world if they're a little... Oh yeah, that's going to be really pretty. It is really pretty already. Look at that. With our... Okay, let's put the back page on too. And I think that's going to be everything for this particular video. And we'll do more with the signatures. I have some papers all laid out and ready. I need to make a spine for the inside of this guy. Okay, we need to make sure this one is cut properly too. Let's cut off that top with the extra bits here because we don't want that. Let's make sure that our side that's going to align with the what do you call it, is straight. On the outside, and the top and bottom's pretty straight too, right? I think that's looking good for our back. So let's see, we're gonna go this way, so it's this side actually this time that is our edge. Man, that glue just, the paper just eats it up so hungrily. It just goes right in there. And I'm out before you know it. It does, these brushes are just cheap hardware store brushes too, and that probably doesn't help anything. The brush probably eats up half the glue itself. Okay, and let's go put this right side up, this out of the way for a second, so that I can do this on here. It's gonna go like this. All right, and we want to make it about even widthwise on here, same as the other cover. I think that's just about where it needs to be. I'm gonna just get that down on there. It feels pretty good already. Not glue it to the page. I need a new glue rag. Ooh, what can I put over that? That's a little too sticky still. Okay. Inside. Now, I forgot to cut my corners before I started, but that's okay, so we can do it now. Want all that extra paper on there. Okay, top and bottom, in case you missed it the last time while I was chatting away. Now you can see it again. It's funny because it's been quite some time since I did a book of this style, but it feels pretty natural. Feels like it's coming together just fine. Pretty well on its own. I don't feel too klutzy with this, which is great, really nice. I don't know when the last time was that I made one like this. Maybe the Gothic door journal. If you guys saw that one's still getting lots and lots of attention in my Etsy shop, and it's probably the thing that people come stop and look at the most in my booth at vendor events. They stop to pick it up and open up those doors and just are in awe of the but that one took a lot of time. I'm going to fold this over so that piece doesn't cause us problems. And then let's do our last outside piece here. I'm so pleased with this already. It's going to be really fun. You know, honestly, putting the book together is maybe my favorite part. I know a lot of people just want to get this part over with so that they can get to decorating, but I really like just all of this. You know, when you start to see it taking shape like this, turning into a book with that new look on your reused hardcovers. I almost feel like I should have covered this up, but I guess once we put because you can almost see the white through this paper is fairly sheer, but we're gonna put an end paper in here anyway. The front covers maybe could have benefited from something that would have, you know, made it shine, but I actually think that's absolutely lovely anyway. So covers, spine, and closure for a new journal. I think that technically actually I was going to say that I think it's a hidden spine, but I'm not sure that that's true. So I'm not going to make that claim. But that is it for the covers, and I will move on with the signatures and the spine and all of the next steps in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me, helps the algorithms know that you guys are enjoying my videos, and I appreciate every one of you so much for being here and following along with me. I'm really enjoying it. I will see you in the next video.